Well, that was a struggle. Hi, everybody. Hello. How are you all doing today? We had no difficulties getting started today at all.
Yeah,
Welcome
not at all.
back.
We had no sound issues at all.
No.
Audio issues.
Who has to do? Nobody who streams more than 1 year ever has an audio issue ever again. It's like a very exclusive club. Hi.
We hate those, don't we?
Yes. Welcome back to Grace Attorney. We are on chapter 3, day 2. And I believe Wander is the judge. Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Hairbrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
Oh no.
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
The defense is finally ready, my lord.
Where's the mouse? Oh, it's there.
They're
Okay.
there.
It's
They're
there.
there.
It's on his shoulder.
Okay, I was worried.
As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
My boyfriend.
It's not Cosima.
Nutsma. Wander.
Oh, right. God damn. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, I've been the judge in a while.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side.
Yes. My apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably.
Oh.
Oh.
I therefore instructed my assistants to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial.
That must be a dull-ass sword.
I'm about to say, wouldn't you cut the top of it?
Yeah.
Cool, you corked it!
Or the blunt side.
And
Or the blunt side, yeah.
the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it.
Would have been better if he actually sabered the glass.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment.
I know, but this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
We did that.
Oh, yes, we did. We did do that, didn't we? We did.
that
We
for
should be
people.
angry about that. Yes, of course we should be angry about that.
Also, question.
Not stalling. What?
Question.
Uh-huh.
Is this real amnesia or anime amnesia
have-
that
I-
gets cured
we
with
have
the
no
power
idea.
of friendship?
It's obviously that. Yeah.
You know, I do have to wonder what goes through the chat's mind whenever you do that.
I don't know.
It's both in the same time.
Anyways, Jay, did you disconnect from Parsec?
I did. Then reconnect. For some reason, I'm still not getting audio, but it's just on me, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Huh. That is
They
weird.
heard,
Check
they
your
heard you
audio
complain
devices.
about Parsec.
Nothing worked right today, chat. I'm sorry. We tried.
He's strange. Oh, don't worry. I fight it until it works.
Alright. Wander.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today. Are you ready and willing to proceed?
I mean, it's the same people as last time, isn't it?
I need to have
Yeah.
the casting chart out.
Or I should do that too.
Was that me?
Yeah, that's happy.
Let me get the game up again. Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
Duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing.
To take a man's
Please stop piling cards onto my lap.
I thought that you could use some more. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
You said the exact same thing
Child
last
in this
time.
court.
Wasn't like this in my day. It wasn't like this at all.
I just saw like the intro for the previous part, and she said the exact same thing.
Oh.
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zeeks.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read on the court, or to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was called on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons. It was what?
An explosion?
This is an outrage!
Baba?
Yes, I saw this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens, and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames.
I have here a photographic print of the scene, taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows that what little remains of the machine.
Be human?
Yes, a terrible business, yes.
Yeah.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
Not good enough.
Enoch Trevor.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel.
Okay, thank you.
Yay! Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation of Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial.
Yeah.
As it stands now, with no evidence. What was that noise?
Oh, you know, just a velociraptor in the gallery.
Oh, to get rid of that, that's dangerous.
So it's Sunday. With no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions. The authenticity.
They're coming for the velociraptor!
Good. Well, good.
Dr. Ernest Velociraptor, professor of law.
God damn it. Of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity.
Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs.
However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the action of the accused. Of that we can be certain.
Can we?
For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine, and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection. As Lord Van Zeeks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Assman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Assman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant.
Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zeeks, summon your first witness, please.
At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch. Oh wow, already, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand.
I mean, we ought to. I got questions for you.
I guess. First of all, why are you a robot?
How are you
Why
alive?
aren't you? State your name and occupation to the court.
Do you think
What
that?
if his name? Oh, go on.
Well, do you think that Enoch just has like mechanical pieces over his arm, and he's just like doing the robot, and he's like, "Yes, this will fool everyone into believing that I am a cyborg."
Maybe.
I mean, for all we know, yeah.
I think it would be funny if his name was like Hado Maton or something.
But Enoch Drebber's in reference to a character from Sherlock Holmes.
I figured.
Yeah.
Fair. I said my line.
You said that? Okay.
Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say. Black monocle?
Yes, why do I feel
I
I've
feel
seen...
as though I've seen it somewhere before.
Give me a card!
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? Most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Clear it from your mind.
No ball bearing?
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. I don't get it.
I said.
The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there? It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiments. Or so our investigations would indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it. In precise accordance with the blueprints. But that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
You bastard.
Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that's very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection! But we've already established that the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility. Nothing more.
But.
No buts.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct. We've procrastinated long enough, I fear. Witness, you will not give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration of the Great Exhibition.
Understood.
Kinesis machine.
I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago, through Mr. Assman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have been required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? Oh. Yes?
Oh, I'm just like, you know, bastard.
All of the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads, and then crash headfirst into the Crystal Tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science with which the machine was built was flawed somehow.
A body double?
That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception can't be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Assman had no twin sibling.
It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine.
Whatever do you mean?
Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how.
Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field. Investigations of the witnesses' workshop attest to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for a young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If our hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation, with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive vials to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was
an unfortunate accident? Or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science?
Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay, here we go.
All right. Hey, Nomura, what if Sephiroth was a cyborg now?
Boop. So, you were already acquainted with Mr. Assman himself?
Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers. That's all. I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for.
So why did Mr. Assman approach you in particular, then?
Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering.
Not to mention excellence in fraud.
That's irrelevant. Hard to gauge. But the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given. Can you two stop juggling voices for 1 second, please? In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles. What did I just say? Yes, you might say that.
I would say that. What would you say that?
Yes. Professor Hairmate certainly has a mind like no other.
It's clear that you have. Both scientific knowledge and conjuring, and knowledge of conjuring magic. However,
The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think.
it's a possibility that we have to explore.
Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there? It appears the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind. And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear.
He must have planned all this from the outside.
I love the little "I hear" at the end, just to like cover his ass. Like, oh yeah, I knew that before because someone told me.
Yes. Supposedly. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin?
Well, I don't know about that. Give me a moment. Hang on. Let me check what we have. Oh, there's probably some things that we haven't really. Okay, hold up. No, we checked this, right? Yeah, we checked
Yeah,
this
I think
one.
we examined this already.
But not this.
Except for the helmet?
Not this.
Oh yeah, show me the head.
Come on.
Key.
Ah, key.
This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you could remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know. It's starting to make me livid, actually.
Mr. Naruhodo, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay. You got anything else on here? Come on. Come on. How come I can't even see the eyes? There's a head in here, right?
Well, maybe that's the thing, maybe it isn't.
Maybe. Okay, I guess that's it. What do you have? Oh, the killer's oh, that's right. The professor's autopsy report.
Oh,
We haven't
yeah.
looked at this.
Oh!
Condemned prisoner, redacted for confidentiality. Pseudonym, the professor. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight on the 17th of June by Courtney Stevens.
What is the other one again? Other autopsy?
What? Other autopsy?
Have we
Yeah.
heard the name Courtney Stevens before?
Nope, but we know Courtney Scythe.
Courtney Scythe.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, name may
The
have-
plot thickens.
You changed your name. Hello.
There can't
Also-
possibly be two people named Courtney.
Also,
Impossible.
Court Scythe, like the Reaper of the Bailey.
Possibly.
I guess.
Is there anything besides this hole in the center that I should really be looking at? Not really, huh?
A YouTube
Not that I
item.
I know you want to.
Hold it. Of course, that's it. Mr. Assman was a twin.
No.
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Assman had no twin siblings.
Oh, no, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled out that possibility.
It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Assman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the facts.
So, it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Assman then.
What if the professor was related to Assman somehow?
Possible?
The possibility that Assman is the professor in some capacity has occurred to me, but I'm not sure how that would work out exactly.
Yeah.
I still think it might be Hosonaga.
Again, no clue where you're coming from on that, but okay.
I've explained in detail in chats.
All right.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, no, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind.
Hint.
Hold it. It crashed head first, you say? Did you see it?
According to the many witnesses who report from those there at the time, yes.
Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on that day?
No.
Oh.
Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop.
Add that shit to the testimony.
Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene. You had to invent a crossbow?
A fold-up crossbow? Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes. The birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower.
What a surprise.
I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it?
How would you have come by that information?
He fell so far! Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body.
Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver, believed to belong to the defendant. And he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height.
Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems.
Do we know which injury was the fatal one?
Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet the level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in a birdcage with his neck broken. It is obvious that he fell from a considerable height.
I suppose that's hard to deny.
Oh, find a way.
So you understood the science, did you?
Not in the slightest.
Oh, right.
As I said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example.
But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on?
Oh. Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you?
You son of a bitch.
Damn.
Calm down, son.
You absolutely got me. Nice one.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
You got him as a good bird.
It was pretty good.
The point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis.
He's certainly very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or another.
But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than a genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Hairbrain's innocence.
Both Mr. Assman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. And seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Drebber? Probably don't like him much.
Can we see the blueprints?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think we have them.
No. Let's see here. I met the young
I
professor.
think we did
Can we
find the half-burned blueprints, but
Oh, that's right.
They were burned.
Did that
Gregson
get-
took the. Gregson
Yeah,
took the.
wait a minute.
Oh,
That's
shit.
Gregson.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Provide me with the blueprints that constructed the shipment. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have to require a body double. Tell me the victim has been. Is there some way I could just talk about the waxwork at this point? I could present the head, but I doubt that's it.
the head?
Is this the only thing related to waxwork that we have?
That seems to be
Yes.
it. Yeah. That's my first option. Let's see if there's something else. All the spectators saw the burn cage appear on both their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. Now he says that he heard about that through other people.
And then saw it.
And then saw it?
He then revealed, I was there.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we kind of caught him in a corner and he had to backpedal a little bit and say that he was there after all.
Yeah, I kind of liked how he did that. I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember being there because you have evidence that I was there.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems to me like this is the one that we need to... God, I guess I could try the head. I'll go for it. I'll do that.
I don't see what else it would do at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, Jay?
What is it, Jay?
Oh, nothing.
The head?
No, nothing.
Objection! No, it's not that one.
No?
No. Last statement is wrong. I don't like it. Oh, but I'm in part. Oh, doll. He
Don't
said,
get
"Bah, bah, 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 bah."
ahead of yourself now.
That's really good. Oh my gosh. Okay. If the whole show was a fraud, it would require a body double. Is there something else I could do?
Can we look at that picture?
Wait, this. Damn
oh,
it! No.
What?
Ah.
Why?
No?
Listen. Hold
It was found in the waxworks clothes, remember?
Yeah,
It was the
was.
glass from the Crystal Tower.
Yeah. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe I'm gonna jump like 7 steps ahead. No, guess not.
And don't get
all
a
know what
broken
happened.
glass of yourself now.
Okay. All those.
Thanks, Dragoni.
Crash head first. I still think it's that, but I'm not sure what else
Not
I would.
sure.
Well, what's your choice then, Saps? Tell me.
Oh, can we go through them again? No, not that one, at the very least.
There's no trick.
Well, no trick. I mean, you just show the picture.
Oh.
What's this hole?
Oh, we could show the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. Okay. You got a
Yeah,
point. That's actually.
maybe.
It's probably this. No.
No.
No?
Really.
Yeah.
Really, something about that last statement is
I'll get a
terrible.
picture ahead of yourself now.
I don't
There's a
like
kind
it.
of more something in Japan.
No.
It seems like we're
No,
having
no.
trouble getting the full picture here.
But that's a
It's
better
really
part.
hard to focus.
What are we doing here, team?
Hey.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? Gosh. Right. You were looking through the stuff. There was no trick. Is there something else that could prove it was a trick? I kind of feel like maybe this isn't it though, because if we could prove it's a trick, then that's it. That's the whole thing.
Well,
Yeah.
they would probably, if we do, then they would dispute it with something.
Oh, wait a minute. Head first.
yeah.
This isn't head first.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
That's it,
yeah,
that's it, we
yeah.
got it.
Yeah, they
It's
really
like-
did hammer that in, didn't they?
Yep. Head first. Here you go. Here you go. Take cage. Take cage. Take it. Objection! We've examined the bird cage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot.
Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely.
I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. Oh.
What are you saying?
That's the opposite of where they should be.
That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery.
Oh,
Half
is
of
that the one that was? Is that the birdcage that was in the machine that fell through the floor?
Yeah, probably. And then the one that actually crashed into the crystal tower is the one that fell head first, maybe.
Well,
Good gracious! Explain yourself, witness.
Well, If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. He was upside down.
Yeah.
The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that he crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection! But multiple witness reports claim it fell head first.
The birdcage materialized in the sky as the balloon flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're still using the voice mod.
I'm a dumbass.
That's okay. That line, but with that voice.
At the altitude of some 60 feet above the ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration.
Can we get that in meters?
No.
No.
Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection! But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection! He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of the vertebrae crushed. A riveting scientific analysis of the events from the prosecution there. Though, to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually.
He wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zeeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here.
Yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates.
But hey,
It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all.
I nearly had him there. Oh. Oh. What are you doing?
Well,
What are you doing?
Are you okay?
What are you doing and why?
Through the robot. The kinesis had clearly took place because there was nowhere else 30 feet higher for the birdcage to have fallen from. Nothing like a balloon.
Balloon.
That's too easy.
Yeah, that feels like it'd be too easy.
That feels really easy, but I don't. Wait.
Like,
Wait, oh yeah, that.
actually, really easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it that. That seems likely.
Yeah.
Present. No.
No?
The defense is
Nah.
not right. The defense is wrong. The defense is bad. Oh.
Probably
That's
a
good
step
to know.
ahead once again. Okay, try the balloon.
Oh crap! It was this one. Yes, 30 feet high.
Yeah.
30 feet high. I guess the balloon.
About 18 meters.
No.
What?
Your numbers mean nothing to me.
I should have saved before I
look.
tried those things. Whoops.
Yeah.
That's okay. And we could save now.
Press?
Press.
And also press the statement.
Oh, we never tried pressing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on the stage in front of the audience.
Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Assman on the experimentation stage. It's true.
And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloon that exploded was at the altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. That difference of 30 feet is therefore at the total distance the birdcage fell. And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen from the distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Ergo, The victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the Crystal Tower.
Here we go. A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
No, Judge, please.
Oh, yes! It's all very clear and well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes.
Weekly, nothing.
That didn't really do anything. Now I will save. Now I'll
Well, it's the...
go on.
I was gonna ask if the last statement changed somehow.
I mean,
didn't see it, but
The last save.
the last statement.
Oh.
I heard save too.
I heard save it first as well.
No, this is not different.
Yeah, okay. You should still save.
Okay, I'll save. Here we go. Just lost 2 easy points. Oh well, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
That's okay.
All right.
With saves, we have infinite lives.
That's true. Very true.
Save's coming.
Maybe this picture.
Nah.
Save.
Just
one
like
it.
your fire emblems.
Yeah.
Might be time to just look through stuff.
Well, here it talks about a broken vertebrae.
Yeah, a broken vertebra, most likely there's a impact. That's what they are all saying, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just...
What are you curious about?
How did he know it was a single one?
I guess I don't know, but it's not. That isn't a part of his statements here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He just said it earlier, so I was wondering, like, how did he know?
Because he's a scientist, he knows these things.
He's from the Courtney side.
Yeah. Kinesis nowhere else 30 feet high for the burn cage to have fallen from. No.
It fell from the hang.
We tried this. It's not that.
Yes.
And we tried... What else did we do? Oh, we tried the balloon piece. That's right. Yes, that?
Could it be the photograph of the balloon?
Yeah, if you look at the balloon, what does that see? Okay, you can see the birdcage hanging there.
Uh-huh. I don't think that's relevant.
Why do we have the picture of Drebber?
That was to help us find him, but I don't
but
really see how it helps us.
I'm just wondering why we have it as evidence still. Then this is the camera from the special exhibit,
which I don't think is relevant.
Didn't
it
have
have
anything
stains?
in it.
Well, it had that.
Yeah.
It does this,
That is
And
a
it was-
stain of blood.
and it was missing a thing in the back. This doesn't
Yeah.
seem completely relevant yet. Not yet. Alright, team, let me leave. Thank you, team. Okay.
No. There's something
God.
inside the trophy.
Something inside the trophy. Boy, that would piss me off because I look pretty.
I think that was one of the first things we tried.
Yeah.
Checking
yeah.
the bottom of the trophy.
The bottom of the trophy.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing on this trophy except for this.
This trophy is not helpful.
Nope.
This mask is unhelpful.
Could it be a different statement somehow?
That would be
Do we-
weird.
That would be really strange. Very odd.
What did the other one say again?
The whole
Oh,
show.
double, no. Blueprints.
That doesn't help at all. It's gotta be this. It has to be. But I really don't get it. You don't have something interesting, do you? What do you talk about? Every article on the front page about the Great Exhibition, public exhibitions, and cultural exhibits. Positive. Let's go see it properly. But okay.
Do you want a nudge?
Maybe a small.
Wait, why is that not? Why is that
Lost cat.
The Reaper attacked.
Oh.
A cat.
It's the kingpins of the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. And this isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Van Zieks as a result, by the sound of it. It makes you think that if that's how the justice system works in London, then there must be dark forces at work. Wow, very helpful.
Okay, I'm guessing maybe the checkpoints are just gone because Iris is not here and Suzuto is here despite Suzuto saying nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Saps, it sounded like you were gonna say something.
Well, we got a hint from chats.
Precise details in the statement can be important. Nowhere else.
No.
30 feet high. The birdcage. Both on. Okay.
Kinesis. Wait. Can we look into the cage again?
Sure.
There's nothing that's part metal here, is it?
Nope. Completely wood. Except for these straps, probably. It's probably leather.
Nah.
Do they want us to present a picture of the victim because, hey, metal?
Well, but we already did that. That happened last time.
Yeah.
They're not even really talking about the metal at this point.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this picture.
Well, why would that?
Oh my god.
Why is
What?
it picture?
It kind of makes sense. I sort of get it. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. That being said, I think other things should have worked better than this.
Could
Yeah.
you try and explain the logic? Because I don't have any clue why that one would work.
Because it's the same logic for why we picked that other picture with the hole in the machine. It's just a different piece of evidence to explain the same idea. He fell through it.
I feel like it's a worse picture, honestly.
I agree. Anyway. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Oh, it's 9.
However...
Did the picture say it was 30 feet high?
Oh, did it actually say that? No.
If it did that, then it makes total sense.
No. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet.
No.
Well, it appears that events has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, Counsel.
Yes, my lord. Of course.
You will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram. The alternative location from which the birdcage could have possibly fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Well, it would be over here.
Or underneath?
What?
Well,
yeah.
I think there's the best place.
Because
Because then we use the hole afterwards.
Yeah, I guess. Percent? Okay, there we go. The place I'm referring to is here!
But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with.
Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself.
Go on, Counsel.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see that it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there were to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance.
Ooh.
We had the right idea. Just the wrong evidence. Once again,
Yeah,
my lord.
I'm just curious.
You want me to look at the description of the thing itself?
Yeah, I
Alright.
just want to see if it said so, because then...
It doesn't say 30
No,
feet.
it doesn't!
It doesn't say 30 feet.
It really should have said 30 feet.
For what reason was this a better piece of evidence than the other one? It's not good.
I
Oh, well.
really think presenting the photo of the actual hole would have been better.
I
And then if they
Yeah.
argued, we don't know how deep that hole is, then we
could
present
use-
that.
Yeah.
This
or
all
if they even in the diagram showed where he fell from, because then you can make the interpretation that that's just as tall.
Yeah. This all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Now we use it.
Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the kinesis machine itself. It's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion.
Oh, they do it for us.
Good lord! The metal grill that formed the floor machine is undone.
Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. That'll do it.
Oh.
Mr. Trevor. It was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Assman's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Ooh, the spin already?
Yeah, I don't think we're done after we're done with Drebber.
If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions. Ow! The prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly, but surely.
Wait.
Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts.
2?
Oh.
Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that. But we know someone who has been there.
Yee. And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection! I don't think he did it, but I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to.
The nonsense with the crossbow. That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigations team's report is unequivocal on that point.
Ah,
And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive.
Yeah.
Why would this man who wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so.
a motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? Yes.
Yes. I have here a contract provided by the witness.
What contract is this, Lord Van Zeeks?
The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered the victim, Mr. Assman. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income.
30%? Certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
But there was one very important provision built into that clause.
What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold his rights on condition that both contracting parties are alive. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So, you see, I have nothing to gain from Mr. Aspen's death. The diametric opposite, in fact.
Oh.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil.
It appears that his assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Six, you will submit the contract as evidence, if you please.
Oh.
Drebber's contract has been submitted to the court record.
Well, that's
Let's
true.
read it.
That's also
I'm
true.
reading that narration line.
Okay. Terms of investment. The investor, Mr. Odie Assman, hereby enters into contract with the provider, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to fund labor and materials for the construction of a super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations. All right. From government grants or other income. Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right to on condition that both contracting parties are alive. Yeah, that's very suspicious, isn't it?
Now, it's probably the signing there that is the problem.
You think that this matters? The sign?
We're probably gonna find something later how it's like written down.
Okay.
Like if we find out that Aspen's
cool
actually
signature.
has different handwriting.
I bet it's the ransom note.
Ooh.
Oh,
Is the ransom?
I bet
note-
we
have.
do we already have the ransom note? I don't think we ever got that.
It's
did
not.
we?
It's not in evidence. No.
Maybe
and I
we'll
don't
get
think-
it later.
I don't think we have another sample of his writing. We'll get to it. I'm sure.
yeah.
It's
Cool
true.
ass signature though.
If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ah.
So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Nadahodo. And I've no doubt that there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Yeah.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
No, don't do that.
I'm gonna.
Stop it!
No. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage, yet now we know that there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit.
Get to the point.
The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. Oh, you may.
I'm mad.
So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved, yes.
someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice!
Objection!
An accomplice now. Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come. Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else, for the most serious of crimes.
That's exactly right, I am. You give me one.
You sound uncertain, Mr.
No,
Policeman.
there's two options here that could be the case.
You also had the two-option idea. If these accusations turns out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do I do here? At the moment, this is a little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know if, for sure, if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear as a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice or not? Yeah, name the accomplice, come on.
Yeah.
The
It was
defense
me.
is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow, the two bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet, according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel?
My lord, the game really spelled it out for me.
You've received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. So, your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
I think it's Courtney's. Yeah. Her daughter also is not on this list. Okay,
Yeah.
pick you.
Also, they're related, right? Clearly.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Courtney and Trevor.
Drebber and Courtney?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Where did that
Look at
revolution
them.
come
Look
from?
at them.
Look at
at
them.
Look at the
White
picture.
hair.
They both
but-
have white hair,
They have-
that's about it.
Yeah.
And Drebber's hair isn't naturally white.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they're related.
I don't think so.
The name of the person in
I'm
question
calling it.
is...
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Did you mean to say Mr. Assman?
No.
Surely fear doesn't bite your tongue now. It's a little late for that.
Of course, I'm afraid. After all, naming
Oh.
her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves.
So you are saying the correct thing.
I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me. I mean, yeah, it was definitely always going to be this.
I'm sure it will be all right, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same way to the enemy.
All right, then, here goes.
You kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, counsel. Now.
The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What? What the blazes are you talking about, Dr. Scythe?
He handled the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim.
We know there were 2 bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify. My guy's just posing.
Where you get the corn cob? You've got nerve, lad! Setting up to dragging the yard's name through the mud!
I didn't mean to.
I know the woman very well. There's no dead room worker out there. No better one. How dare you call her a cannibal?
What?
My learned friend's imagination appears to be wider than the East End at night.
You know, if you're
Or mine.
no better occupation than a coroner to be a cannibal. No, gonna let that go.
No, I'm gonna say no.
Oh, name a better one.
But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One of which the prosecution demands you address at once.
Park ranger, what are you talking about? Grave problem.
No one can hear them scream.
I guess so.
No one would find the bodies.
This is weird.
Oh my word!
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger?
Oh wait, what?
Bibbidi-bobbidi, huh?
Certainly, if the bird cage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained a body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim has been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of the body double for Aspen.
Yeah, that's true. If my argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must have also been 1 person inside of each. But I don't know if I've got the answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? Name someone, present evidence, nothing at the moment. If I present evidence, is it gonna be the head?
Would it be better to name Miss To Spell?
I would say the evidence.
I would
I
also
don't know.
say that. That's gonna be
With utmost confidence.
Listen, I knew Courtney Scythe was gonna be... Well, I mean, present the evidence. Do it. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Assman's body double. Dotty bubble.
Good gracious! Evidence? You're going with evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, counsel. The court is expecting a name.
If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
The body
Probably
double.
the helmet.
Well, yeah. And the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of the explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... I guess it's gonna be this. Take that! Take that? We know that the victim, Mr. Aspan, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower.
You get ahead of yourself now.
Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact...
It's all right, Mr. Nadahodo. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself and come out with it.
Thank you, Mrs. Otto. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, and as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there. Wait, why is it just
You
here?
had the entire thing?
It's here.
How?
Why do we have it here?
How?
I thought we only had the head.
I just closed my eyes and pointed, and I hoped it was there. Oh, wow.
Objection!
Where did you keep that?
My pocket.
In my pants.
No, keep it there.
Oh,
Open
you
your
see it?
eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend.
Okay.
Oh, I could get lost in those.
Now tell me, what are you playing at?
Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
You started by inciting the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice to this crime. And now you moved on to indicting Waxworks.
Yes, that's about the size of it, yeah.
Yep.
But why? Why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him at less. What possible justification can you give?
If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber.
What?
Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Two Spells.
Did you say abducted?
And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum.
Then the timing.
Is this true, Mr. Drebber?
At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Assman.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? The witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner, on a public stage in front of a vast audience.
Sounds
And
right.
that, to effect a deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection! Yeah. Wait! Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord? Oh.
My lord, I need to speak, if you please.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement.
Oh, very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty. Guilty.
Oh,
Guilty.
wow, they hated that.
Oh, his voice is not. Oh.
Gilby. Is it Gilby?
No! Oh,
I can take a break.
So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus.
I knew that was going to happen.
We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure.
Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds.
The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you have decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
Okay. We didn't get one of these in the first part of this trial, so it's actually been a pretty long time since we had one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be able to accomplish anything. Or
Also-
cannibal.
Also, usually it starts at the beginning and then works its way through. What are you doing talking, guy?
Yeah.
It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another.
Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork and the man stole is nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
So we're gonna use your statement.
I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much.
I've seen no rigorous proof that his waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture.
Accusing someone without right evidences? It's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it.
Okay.
For once, most of these actually make sense.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinions.
Given that its face is obscured and its build is in no way resemblance of that of the victim, would help if we knew the build of the victim. I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmus's body double.
Tonight's stream has a lot of words for me to look up later.
Yeah.
Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary. But that's the point. It's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto?
I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used, why it had to be this model.
Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean?
Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim, really.
The removable head, yeah.
Well, they all come off, don't they?
Well, if that's the case... we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs.
Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this.
If you are ready, Counselor, you may proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Hi back there. All right, hold it.
You've never met that woman before in your life.
The order of things seems to have changed around here at some point.
At least they acknowledge it.
I'm a copper lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes when need must.
Wow, that's
All right.
all right.
What is wrong with that?
Everything.
Where do I start?
I've been working at the yard for 40-odd years.
That's even more than I thought.
You look so young.
We've only had a metropolitan police service in town for 70 years, you know. Of course, times have changed and public doesn't trust coppers. Back when I started, it was rough.
Wow.
We had to fight crime, and we had to fight to win the public's trust as well. And when we did, forensic science was in infancy too. Even more than it is now. Oh, she's shepherding the revolution.
Dr. Scythe, you mean?
That's right, about 10 years ago it was, and when I was a youngish Bobby on the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. And now look at her, head of the forensic investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complain. And that's what we all dreamed of back then, I tell you.
Could you tell me without holding that gun in the air?
Yeah. We are here. We are all out to uphold justice, lad. Full of vim we were, full of vim.
That's coming across loud and clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just wait till you find the vigor.
But
Well,
but we're only just starting to understand this case. I only have 7 vigor.
That's less vigor than I have.
I can't believe I didn't get a laugh out of Saps with that. What are you
Because
reading
it's
there,
less than
sir?
Mine. The man behind those murders in Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you.
That's really not relevant to the case, is it?
You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Scythe in charge of examining the bodies. And it was the evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible.
Oh.
That's right! Oh, that woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh.
I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around.
Get good at your job.
Hold it. Why would you assume that?
Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relationship with the woman, does he?
True. As it stands, we don't know of any connection.
Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in waxwork.
Romantic?
A woman from society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know.
Yeah, she's a shipper.
Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to.
One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman.
I'm going to write all about it.
Read my fanfiction. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor there.
Oh my god,
This-
she knows.
This woman may be more astute than I've been giving her credit for. What?
They kissed. They kissed in college.
If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough.
Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of a connection, she'll be the first to know. Yes, hold it. What sort of problems? Let's just say that we've run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences, so we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult, old man. What do you have to say for yourself? Excuse me.
Don't do that.
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole?
Ottermole?
Oh, you're calling a mass murderer?
Ah, sorry. No, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him.
I don't look anything like the man. You want to be locked up, sonny?
Thanks, Mr. Shawns.
Earlier, in the part 1 of the trial, we referred to it as Ottermole, which was a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Well,
Perhaps we can move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do.
Yeah, I know that. Back in my day, back in the good old days, it wasn't like this.
What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust with it. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
did they?
Respected you.
No one would have called a coroner into question, well, in them days. A coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right.
I love that this London Bobby is a prospector from the 1800s. It's a good choice.
Especially, I have many occupations, many hats, you see. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name on it. She was the best.
Hold
And
it.
then she widened down.
Hold on a minute.
The apple of your eye?
Wait.
What are you talking about? Who is Courtney Stevens?
We're gonna learn.
Oh,
And sorry, got a bit carried away there. Oh.
Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name.
Aha!
Oh,
ha, 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 ha.
her maiden name. So that was before she got married.
There is only one Courtney.
Well, it would be.
Oh, of course, yes, silly me. It's, Scythe now, isn't it?
Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently.
This screen mechanic.
Anyway, the point is, those were the days of policing. Not like now.
How
Sorry to
old is
interrupt, sir.
Courtney?
I,
You can
well,
check.
I guess maybe I might have that information. Give me a moment. How old is she? How old? She's 39. She's 39?
Wow.
Sorry. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name, please?
Well, yes, I don't see why not.
So wait, if Scythe is the one that did the autopsy on the professor,
Oh,
she
the
would know what the
professor.
professor looks like.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's true.
She knows exactly.
Hold it. She was legendary, was she?
What did you say?
Ah!
That woman is still the best corner in the land. Head of the forensic investigation team.
Legendary was your description, sir, not mine.
Rubbish, the word never passed my lips.
Stenog.
I'd never describe anyone that way ever. Not if they were still in the game.
What?
They
I-
were a legend. They aren't a legend.
I think the point you're trying to make is that Dr. Scythe is an extremely talented coroner. Would that be fair?
And what?
Okay.
If it weren't for the fact that you're trying to drag that legendary woman's reputation through the mud.
Bailiff, you took his ammunition, correct?
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that legendary. I'm gonna pretend I didn't
What's
hear
a bailiff?
it. Didn't hear it. Okay.
Oh dear. Oh no.
I guess maybe we're done with you. I'll come back if I have to. Press, yes. Hold it. But you claimed the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
That I did, but there's one more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Sorry? What do you mean?
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there'd be no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did the buffer leaf take the answer?
Ah, yes. Thank you, sir. You got it.
Okay, thank you. The point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence.
Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? I have the evidence. I have that. Actually,
Nice.
I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats.
But
So given your jet black outfit, I
But-
don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
But
But
I'm
I don't trust you. I'm not asking you to trust me.
so you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. Haha, got him.
we're not black.
Is it?
We're in blue.
I do have some evidence that
Green
proves that
Poppycock.
Waxwork was inside the birdcage. Namely, it's this. Take that.
Now, Lunar, what color is our dress?
That is teal at best.
Got it.
I'll come right around. What's that? A piece of glass? Those unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece
Wait,
of broken.
okay, pause on that. Pulling out the
Maybe not
snipping
quite teal.
tool.
Maybe there's more of a.
Pulling out snipping tool. We're gonna copy that into my image software.
This is
Color
Back checking
picker.
Lunar.
This is
Uh oh.
important.
All right, we're gonna raise the
Ooh,
saturation and brightness.
Ooh, baby, so important.
Well, that just changes the
It is.
color, though.
Well, it doesn't change the hue.
Hmm.
Okay, so the hue, it's very much in the cyan range. So it's south of cyan. So yeah, I think teal would be an appropriate description.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
blue green.
Yes, it's a
Has been-
Cloud's Majesty.
Lunar has been validated.
Point for lunar.
Yay!
It's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
Crystal Tower, holy smoke!
Exactly, the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
Whence did this small piece originated? Is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that the clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
Yeah.
In that case, Joe number 4, you'll amend your statement now, if you please.
Oh wait, what?
The presence of that piece of glass leaves me in a little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside that birdcage.
Okay.
But you didn't
In-
change your
in-
meaning.
In little doubt.
Well, let's talk again. Let's talk again. Hold
Leaves
it.
me in little doubt.
Thank you for reconsidering your position, sir.
Your words are misplaced, boy. My opinion is governed by logic and science and nothing else. Yes, science as well should direct your words of gratitude.
Oh.
All hail science! What's the matter with you? Too good to say some words of thanks to the mother of all academic subjects? The
What
mathematicians in the gallery are fuming.
What is it about scientists, honestly? Oh, right, yes. Hold it. I've got to ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you? Hungry. Oh.
Colonel Cobb, he's been growing back on the farm. Picked him off on me way to town. He's a proper nibbler, he is.
Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe it could wait until after the trial?
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. You need colonels at times like these.
Kernels of
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, how old are you?
Not important.
I'm
Not important.
47.
Whenever I've something big to decide, the colonels always point me in the right direction, see?
You're talking about your cob of corn?
Cornomancy.
Nibble, nobble, guilty, not, bobble, get nibble, not guilty, out. Nibble, 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 nibble.
Okay.
Nibble, nobble, nibble, nobble, nibble.
Okay. Luna decided this line was beneath her. Okay.
She playing like she loves me and she loves me not with
Yes.
I guess. Do you want me to go back?
No.
Okay.
Why not?
Perhaps it's akin to fortune telling with flower petals, like people do back home.
So
She killed him. He killed him not. He killed him. He killed him not.
So Professor Harebrain's fate is to be decided by a cob of corn. Could you not at least wait until we've had more time to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt?
Oh, I don't know about that. My time's awfully full already.
Amazing. Nice. Yay.
We got there.
I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in that birdcage, but on the other hand, it explains a lot.
If there really is a reason why that particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Aspen's double, we must do everything we can to make the jurors understand it.
The truth is, I'm sure that that's the key to this, but it's the most puzzling part of it, too.
In that case, you should see what additional information you can glean whilst trying to change the jurors' minds. If you can read a book whilst eating a cracker, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm sure you can do this.
Right, yes, okay. Okay, now it's thinking time. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course. Is it gonna be this guy with, her?
Sure.
Waxwork the man stole is nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
Yeah, it has to be this then.
Yeah, it's gotta be. What? Hey. Pitt, you against you. Objection!
Yeah!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Because the waxwork is of a person who she knows what he looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good gracious! To whom statements do you refer, counsel?
So, juror number 2.
Oh, gosh, me? What can I do for you?
I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible.
She seems very bored.
But oh, golly, I'm afraid I'm afraid I fail to understand what you mean.
Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness! Evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling!
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor, and that's gonna be this, yes? Yes.
Yep.
Alright,
Yeah.
great. There you go. Take that. I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have?
It is, of course,
Relevance.
from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor.
The professors? But the man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my! Courtney Stevens?
Strike a light!
Okay. It appears
Will
that the
do.
professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Two Spells. A waxwork that doesn't, in fact, resemble the victim, Mr. Assman, at all. Well, we don't know that.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Absolutely. I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the professor case is at the heart of a link we have yet to uncover. Between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary. We're surely obliged to now explore this further. I'm only here for the drama.
Who isn't?
You know what? Mood. So are we.
Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while this cloud of suspicion is hanging over the yard's best corner. No. It was like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end.
All right. Cool. Cool.
Why are we allowed to throw fire in the courtroom? There's a lot of wood in here.
'Cause it
You're
looks
throwing
cool.
it back. You practiced.
I don't know if I did. That one next to me was a child. I'm fairly certain, like 4-year-old.
It's the professor. That's what links that frightful swindler and the coroner.
Oh, no, wait. Hang on. It would be the first one. What do you have to say? Jay?
Oh,
This is new.
if a yard's corner tire, it was green. If a yard's corner's under suspicion, then we're not done here. You tell me clearly.
Okay.
It was green.
Utter nonsense to think that those two would ever be connected.
Betrayed by the green.
Why would you be betrayed by the
Problems with
green?
members of the police, I do not
Is it-
trust them much. The presence of
Oh,
piece of
God,
glass leaves
I
me
can't
in
believe-
little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside that bird cage. Perhaps this with one?
Rest in this.
It's utter nonsense to think that those two would ever be conniving with one another.
Those statements aren't really related, though.
Yeah, alright. I've had
What
my
does
own...
the girl say? The little girl?
Someone without right evidences. He's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it. That doesn't seem completely relevant.
Well, I mean,
You know,
the presence
this
of that
and
piece
her.
of glass, which is evidence.
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
I think those two contradict each other.
Okay.
Same.
Alright.
Oh, yeah. That's evidence.
Objection.
Alright.
Yeah.
Cool. Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! I've been saying that a lot today. To whose statement to your fair counsel?
If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5.
Nom 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 nom. Oh, you mean me?
You've pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't.
If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now, this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence. It would be wrong of me, as a man of science, not to pursue the matter further.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, me too then.
Sorry?
If this brainy gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
Okay, great.
Okay, fine.
Sure.
We'll take it.
That was a weird one. Success! If you can call it that.
Thank you, counsel, that will do.
We did it.
As a result of the termination examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now call guilty against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach consensus at this time. And the trial must continue.
Well, we did it.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory.
Oh, great.
Good job. Now do it again.
I feel like I wasn't that convincing, but okay.
A waxwork of the despicable Professor. He uses a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say, it's extremely hard to believe the assertion that this could possibly be true. However, it would appear that this does at least warrant further investigation.
It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link.
I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't.
The truth, sir. By using evidence and testimony.
Hurrah!
If the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness.
The owner?
Madame Tuspel.
I really thought that Lord Van Zieks would object to this whole line of inquiry.
I have vested interest in this.
Very well, I concur. Make arrangements with Madame Tuspel to appear as a witness with immediate effect.
Listen carefully, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Yes.
Madame Tuspels, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord.
Very, very good. Yes. Oh God, I'm going to have to do that accent. Let's hope Gregson doesn't roll in here.
Gregson might be done for the trial. Maybe.
Gregson.
Now watch, Gregson's going to appear in this next scene. Give us a crucial piece of evidence, and then leave again.
Send that man to Rio or something. The south of France or something.
It's October.
Oh, okay.
Ah, the knight errant himself.
Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes?
I've been edge of my seat the entire time. Courtroom trials are a fascinating affair. As a spectator, at least.
I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself.
I have to ask. What on earth is going on? It makes no sense! What's this professor business all about? He doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before! Who even is he?
Ah, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago.
Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies.
As it turns out, Lord Van Zieks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realize, isn't he?
Yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock.
And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man.
You make it sound deliberate.
I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling.
No.
Oh, yes? In what particular manner?
Well, there's Mr. Drebber, Dr. Scythe, and Lord Van Zeeks. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow.
Yes, in fact, I alone am not a member of the set. Well, that leaves you with an empty set. All alone with no intersection to any other.
Excuse me?
Huh?
Oh.
Excuse me.
Oh, hi.
Dr. Scythe!
Ah, Dr. Courtney Scythe. Stevens.
Nay?
That's how
Nah.
you spell nay?
The
No.
accent.
All other ways?
It just refers to someone's maiden name.
I just want to flick it away. Like, what are you doing?
Why?
Just go.
Why?
It
Why
is
not?
French.
Good day to you.
Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you.
What in particular, pray?
You
I'm sorry.
requested
Should
that
I hit
10
E with an accent at the end of breath.
You're the one who did it!
Uh,
She was unrelated to that!
You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you?
Why would you assume such a thing?
Because Gregson told me.
threw you under the bus, I did.
To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel. I smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant.
A policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Scythe. And I've accused you of being a complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened.
That certainly won't be possible. Lord Van Zeeks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Lord Strongheart?
More tickets.
The Pandora's box you were warned about is the Professor case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me. But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice! I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets. None at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you.
You suck. Bye. She mentioned it too, this Pandora's box.
Whatever does it all mean?
There's really no cause for concern. I assure you, when the trial resumes, the meaning will become too apparent, whether you like it or not.
Huh?
Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must take my way back, or make my way back, to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits. I only paid for that part.
I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much.
Ah, yes. One word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trials this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bow. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever you may come to pass.
All right, I understand. Thank you.
Good. I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of camera earlier, so I shall be gnawing on it as you gnaw away on the truth.
Okay.
And there is
Chom's
no other
caramel.
reason you purchased that caramel, did you?
Didn't he make it himself?
Why else would
Yes.
why else would we need it?
Well, he used
He
it.
used this to make a.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Keys.
Impression.
The impression of the music box disc.
I wonder if he's gonna do the same with the key for the mask or something.
Oh.
That would be cool. What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially the bit about whatever may come to pass.
We melt the caramel into the lock, let it harden, and then turn it.
That could work, maybe? It's time for the final chapter, then. I'm determined to find the truth. No matter what.
To be continued.
To be continued. No, not quite.
I mean, we just had one.
Whenever the music comes back, would you guys be okay with a quick break?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I need
Yeah,
it real
I
quick.
can get a snack.
Okay, chat. We will be right back in just a few moments. See you soon. We're back. Thank you for waiting.
Hello.
Hello. Feeling better now. Okay,
Mom, Mom.
there we go.
Oh, shoot. I got cheesy popcorn.
Oh, dang it.
Oh.
No. That little girl is pissed. In the name of Her
Grab yourself
Majesty
a
the
snack
Queen.
there.
I took a coin and popped it. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
Yes, my lord. The defense is also ready.
As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectations.
The moment I stand up! As it seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord.
Not my fault.
I mean, it kind of is.
No.
So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter. Lord Van Zix.
My lord.
Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuspels?
Not at all. She is in the antechamber as we speak and ready to be summoned.
Very well. Bring in your witness.
At once, my lord. Bafaleaf, show Madame Tuspel to the stand.
Things are about to become a lot more intense. If Drebber is responsible, and I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Scythe.
And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork.
Yes, the model of the professor. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present it's all we have to go on. Well...
Oh. Huh. Interesting.
Why of him? Why him?
Here's my muse.
He's pretty.
Why not me? State
You
your
are
name and
grotty and
occupation.
old.
He's older than me? Is he?
Oh dear.
Okay.
You should
look.
moisturize then.
33 versus 34. The same
Only by a year.
He's older.
Oh,
Name,
you
state
need
your name and
to
occupation.
moisturize. My name is Madame Esmeralda Tuspels. I'm a waxwork artisan. And the proprietress of the Madame Tuspels Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as a testify. The new exhibit must open very soon.
Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are two of them in the world.
This is getting out of hand.
Oh my! What expression is she carving into that face?
A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this?
Oui, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped.
A waxwork model? Kidnapped?
Yes, my lord. There was demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I have just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand that it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim.
At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. Oh!
Wow.
Looks
Oh,
That's
like
the
a
first time we've
shadow
seen his
man.
actual portrait.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Vianoske boy.
Oh.
This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Asman.
But of course, I know him well. He is part of my odious personage exhibit. I do test to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all.
Yes, but perhaps their faces are very similar. But she just said,
Are you suggesting that we should see now the masked visage of the professor?
There's the key.
There is the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock.
This is absurd.
Pardon?
I don't know what face you carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed, yes. The man's identity was never made public after all.
The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains as closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tortured exhibits could get its hand on that information.
Quel dommage.
What the fuck does that mean?
It would seem you are unaware of the two spares principle.
what principles?
The family two spell has always prided itself on sculpting its models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Et voilà, our principle.
There is a well-known legend about the Two Spells waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Two Spells family is said to have made a waxwork of the Queen, who was executed.
Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now. Ah, that I were alive then.
I believe the Queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually at the guillotine site.
You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. With those spells will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects.
Dear me, a somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose.
It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. And it has been my family's secret for generations.
Do you mean to say
Oh.
that beneath that mask?
Beneath the mask, cue the music.
Go ahead. It's turning.
The true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous. It is out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Duspel special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer emerging from his own grave. It is a sight to behold. You should come.
I think, madame, it will be beneficial to hear your full testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation.
Am I sounding okay when I'm voicing two spells?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just worried that I was getting cut off or something.
You were sounding French.
Thank you. Also seeing N's in the chat, not sure what that's about.
Oh, it's because the jester accidentally swiped and got an N.
Oh, okay. With pleasure. I tried to do a uvular L, it did not work. Yeah.
Professor
Yeah.
Waxwork.
I got some French caught in my throat. This
Or-
special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on the rumors that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse, in accordance with Duspel's family principle. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
Is this an admission of guilt?
Such limitations, I don't know.
Eh.
The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this?
I can dig it.
We?
No, don't.
I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew. Only the gravedigger. What harm did it do?
Was it Drebber?
It was definitely Trevor.
So you truly saw it. The face of that monster!
Naturellement, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But the two spells would not be two spells if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculpture.
I don't believe this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madame. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I read a newspaper from the time.
Mm.
Aha! There he is!
The special exhibit was based on the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened as reported by the eyewitnesses who saw it.
Okay.
Charles Darwin to win and receive a Copley medal.
Hold up. We have to go back.
Oh, wait, I want to see that.
We gotta go back. We gotta go back.
Bottom middle was Darwin.
Charles Darwin to receive Copley Medal. That's fine. The Great
Oh,
Stink.
that's
Parliament
good for
is to
him.
finally address the foul issue. Mad sheep rampage. Unexplained
The
phenomenon.
ball mask to blame for the great plays.
Mr.
Oh,
Trevor
the signature.
Oh! Esmond!
Oh.
He drew this!
Oh, he drew this. Why? Okay.
I don't know, but was the bell mask to blame for the Great Blaze? That feels very... the top right.
Yeah, I saw it.
Right?
Yeah, like, was the bell mask to blame for the Great Blaze? The Great Blaze seems important somehow.
I mean, we could sit there and read that whole article, but
Keep it in mind.
did you read this?
Man rising from the grave is too absurd for words.
The public enjoys absurdity, monsieur. That is why I reproduce the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it?
That is correct. The professor you see before you here.
News puzzling. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
This waxwork links Drebber to Dr. Scythe, and there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I'll prove that Dr. Scythe and Drebber were in on this crime together. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
All right, hold it. And the rumor would be...
It's in your hotel now, but one that no London would ever forget.
Alright, I know just what you're talking about, I think.
Of course, it couldn't be anything else.
Yes, that story will never disappear.
The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my House of Horrors. The rumor was whispered all over the city, and it was like this. It was in Lowgate Cemetery behind the prison, in the dead of the night after the execution of the killer. The interred professor slid back the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him. But an instant later, he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder.
What?
The bullet struck the emergent corpse, and he fell motionless once more.
Huh?
The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life.
That's very different from what Sholmes told us. The corpse climbed out of his own grave?
Yes, we've been over this.
And then somebody shot him? Who was it?
That's new. Nobody knows even today. But remember, it was just a rumor. Perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they love stories like this. That is why it was in every newspaper across the capital.
But was it just a story?
Or was it real?
I mean, this is exactly the scene that can be seen today at your museum, isn't it?
Oui. The special exhibit was mounted under that very illustration. For a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable.
Madame, might I say something?
Please, go ahead, mademoiselle.
When something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. I believe that often, rumors contain elements of the truth.
I see that people from the East can be just as astute as the people of Europe.
Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful?
It is not possible for the dead to come back to life.
Sorry?
10 years ago, I was there, in Lowgate Cemetery. After the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging, I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred. So I can assure you, the man was dead.
I see.
It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate.
Hold it.
So that was a lot of info.
Is that true of every waxwork in your museum then?
It is. Assuming the subject is dead, of course. Live subjects have to cooperate in a similar way. I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know.
What sort of letters?
When my time comes, please who would make a waxwork of me? Comme ça?
No.
My museum is famous, monsieur. To be made into a waxwork is an honor. And for some criminals, a symbol of status even.
Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax?
And it is thanks to one killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London. I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course, the Professor.
Whose form you claim to have captured by taking an impression from an actual corpse.
There are no exceptions to the principles of two spells.
Hold it.
I love her.
Surely that's illegal, isn't it? She is great.
It would seem the proprietors of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed.
Would that make you more or less likely to see my exhibit?
Less.
It had nothing to do with money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history. It is the raison d'etre of the Two Spells Museum.
But if the man was convicted in a closed court and sent for immediate execution, then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present know the killer's true identity.
I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the professor.
Do you realize what you're saying? The professor's identity is a national secret.
I understand. And now that the truth about this special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Theory, is Van Ziek's brother the professor?
No, he was killed by the professor. Is what?
Yes, that is
But
what we have
That's what
heard.
we've been led to
That's
believe, but
But that doesn't match up with my Hosonaga theory.
oh, you mean the one that doesn't really hold that much water?
The one that
It
doesn't
holds
make
water.
any sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
I don't know your reasoning in the first place.
He has been relevant in every single mysterious death so far in this game. And Van Zieks has been betrayed by a Japanese man.
Maybe.
And they are about the same age.
Maybe.
You just want Hosonaga to come back, don't you?
That too, but that's beside the points.
Did you say
Of
this?
course it will. As will your entire museum if you don't tread very carefully, madame.
So it could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think, don't you?
So 10 years ago, on the night of the professor's execution, you took a wax impression of his face from the corpse?
Oui, exactement.
Oh, yep. Hold it. You were there longer than you expected to be.
I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly. As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems with the chin.
Dare I ask?
The man had been dead for a short while already, you see. His muscles were relaxing, consequently, his chin would not align itself correctly.
Oh dear, what a horrible thought.
Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. However, that night, I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time.
What do you mean?
When I take impressions of the visage of a cadaver, I always wait until 3 hours after death.
Is this head, like, really huge? Are you is that like a 2-scale model that you're making, or?
It does look
Yeah.
kind of big.
Yeah.
It'll shrink.
It'll shrink. Why
Oh,
3
stop
hours?
doubting it.
Is that amount of time significant?
It is because of rigor mortis.
Wrigley Mortis?
Ugh. I think my assistant tell you about it.
It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then, from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert their relaxed state.
That's interesting stuff.
The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered.
Lividity?
Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one.
Are you spooked? As the Mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
Really?
I see. So that's why you wait.
I already clenched my jaw at the time. What are you going to do about it? Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work.
Yeah, it's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses. I wonder about that information the courts just heard from Madame Two Spells. It's significant. Yeah.
Of course.
The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see.
But of course, I do not mind at all. Do you think maybe his jaw was relaxed because he wasn't dead?
Possibly.
Maybe.
I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, The atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave.
Got
Was
him.
that a pun?
This is no time for jokes, Mr. Zato.
Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Bien sûr. It took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis.
Hold it. Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described whereby the corpse becomes stiff after death. I think you said that it starts at the jaw about 3 hours post-death, is that right?
Oui, c'est ça. Of course, the exact duration depends a little on the season.
I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well versed in the subject.
No. That is only elementary knowledge in the field of electromedicine.
Well, I had no idea about it, but maybe I won't admit to my ignorance about forensic science.
I could ask my father to give you a very simple primer, if you'd like.
That might be handy, actually. I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them.
Oh dear. I'll do my very best.
No, Susanna, you get rid of the bugs in the house.
Why is it always my job?
Did you read this one? Is this already read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Hold it. You say that dawn was approaching? What was the time of day then, approximately?
Well, I will not say. But when I left the cemetery with my 2 utensils and wax, the morning light was becoming visible.
The execution took place on 17th of June, which had the earliest sunrise of that year.
Indeed it did. First light would have been at around 4:40 in the morning. Oof.
That really is early.
Ah.
Laughs in Norwegian. The fact is, I had very little time, so I finished my work in a half hour. It was necessary to complete the impression and bury the body before daybreak, of course. If somebody had discovered me there, it would have been a catastrophe. So I had to hurry.
Is it me, or does Mr. Sholmes seem to be taking shape more quickly now, too?
You certainly appear to go to extraordinary lengths for your work, madam.
I wonder, is what she just said particularly significant? Yeah.
Now we have a better idea of the timeline.
Madame,
Yeah.
those details about how long it took you to complete the sculpture and the early sunrise, could you include them in your testimony? I believe they may be significant.
But of course, if you would like me to.
You're quite right, Mr. Nadahodo. It is intriguing. A sunrise at 4 in the morning would be absolutely unimaginable at home, wouldn't it?
That's not quite what I meant by significant.
Kindly amend your formal testimony then, madame.
With pleasure, my lord. I read. Oh, I'll direct this.
You did? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, this is the old testimony.
Hold it. Did you have reason to believe you might be discovered once the sun came up or something?
I paid the gravedigger money to keep my little secret, of course. But with the morning light, I knew that the warden from the prison would commence his patrol of the area.
Couldn't you have just paid off the warden too then?
I'd already paid the gravedigger, as I said. You cannot buy the silence of everyone, because the secret is no longer a secret, huh?
The sunrise was at 4:40 a.m. that day, which means that it would have been around 4 when you began your sculpting work.
Yeah, more or less. Oui, that must be correct. That would be when the gravedigger gave me the signal to come out of hiding. When was the execution?
So that's all I have to go on.
What's your feeling, Mr. Nadahodo?
For some reason, Dr. Scythe went along with Drebber's plan. Now, if that's really true, then the professor is the only other thing we know of that links the pair of them. So I feel sure that waxwork must be a clue to this mystery somehow.
In that case, we must use this cross-examination to uncover exactly what it means. Otherwise, the jurors are sure to revert their leanings and the trial will be over.
I agree. But interestingly, uncovering what the professor has to do with all of this means more to Lord Van Zeeks than anyone. That's the impression I'm getting anyway.
Yes, as do I.
After all, he has a profound connection to the professor as well.
Okay, I already think I know what we need to do.
What you got?
What time?
Hold it! Well, I didn't
Time.
mean to push that.
Hold
button.
it!
I'm a fool.
We need to check the autopsy of the professor.
Oh my god, of course
What
I
time
decided.
did he die?
Oh god, it was this one too. Damn it.
God damn it. Give me a moment.
How could you?
Give me a
I
moment.
thought for a second that maybe this is what we were supposed to do, and they went over to the next scene.
Come on.
Mash, 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 mash.
Ain't no
Okay,
mash.
stop mashing. Oh wait, no, keep mashing.
No, kid.
Keep
Hold
mashing.
the B button.
I'm holding the B button. I'm doing it. No mash today.
Make Jay sad.
Is Jay dead? Jay might be dead.
Nah, stop
Okay.
mashing.
Okay.
Check that autopsy.
Trying to figure out why I would be
Court
sad if
record.
we are mashing.
No, I'm just sad because we aren't mashing.
He was
Oh.
holding the button there.
This-
Oh.
This gives us
Midnight.
No. Oh, midnight.
Midnight.
4 hours later.
It
Yeah,
was
that
4
is more than
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so then.
Wait, no, I think it's the one before.
Yeah, would be the last statement, I think.
It's the last statement?
'Cause
Okay.
If sunrise is at 4:40, then she started her
Oh.
work at,
Four.
4 at the earliest, which would have been an hour after rigor mortis.
I don't think it's this statement though.
You do not.
I think it's the one before it. Took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis. But
Well,
we
that
know
would
that
contradict
he.
the next statement.
What do you mean?
I'm
Here's
actually.
what
gives
didn't
us-
happen.
This gives us a definite time because sunrise equals 4:40, so we know that.
I am actually leaning
Well,
to this one more than the other
What
one.
I'm saying is that she is arguing that rigor
what
mortis
she's
had not set in yet, but she had got there 4 hours after he died, which
Yeah,
rigor
but-
mortis should have set in at that point.
I see
But-
what you mean.
Yeah, but this is the statement that clarifies it.
I feel like it should work for either. If the game designers are nice, which they are not, they're
They have been
historically
most of
not.
the time.
Occasionally, there are questions where you can present like multiple pieces of evidence or multiple
Yeah.
statements.
I'm not sure if
But
that's
it's
been
right.
here in the Greatest Attorney in either game.
Yeah.
No.
All right,
I think
you
it
try
was in
this.
the previous case.
It's this.
Okay, good.
Madam Tuspels, I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows.
And is it a problem?
I believe it is,
Yes.
because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another.
Quoi?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
According to her testimony, Madame Tuspels was creating her wax impression just before dawn. And at that time, rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, Madame?
You are, yes. As I said, the stiffening of the jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis. 2 to 3 hours after death. But the man's chin was limp, so he could not have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Scythe's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th of June.
No!
If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would already have been set in.
Oui, yes, you are right. The chin would have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd.
In that case, there's...
Maisie,
Yes?
she just stabbed me in the butt.
Ow. Dang. In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time.
I'm impossible.
You are impossible.
I am impossible.
Order! Council, this is beyond folly. Not only do you indict the author of this report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of staff at Buckley Prison where the execution took place.
Extraordinary.
Not in my deck!
My learned friend seems to have overlooked one crucial fact.
What fact?
The professor died that night, without question.
He did. Of course he did. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands.
Ah. Objection. Yes, the professor died that night. But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Didn't die? Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and that one other person of interest. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting might have happened that night.
Council presents the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution.
Did he get shot in the heart?
And you're to blame.
Oh, like, he survived, and then when he rose out of the grave, he was shot, and that's what killed him.
But if he was shot in the heart, what else has a heart wound?
Bad name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Do I present this?
No.
I'm thinking the article, right?
Yeah, the article makes more sense. I just made a connection that's later down, I feel like.
This is what happened that night.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking I would kind of torn between whether the professor was ODS Man or whether ODS Man shot the professor.
I really don't know. I mean, she's already said that ODS Man does not look like the professor. She knows that.
But
I don't
we
know.
That, and
Try
the
this.
audience doesn't know that.
Unless they swap places.
There we go.
What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now.
Well, if this article is to be believed, yes. The professor, assumed
sounds-
dead, following his execution, emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Don't be a fool. That's simply a rumor published by the gutter press.
Can you be certain of that?
Are you serious?
The point is, as this article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word, yes indeed.
Mary? The young man who stole the
Macy.
cemetery. Macy. Mary? The young man who stole into the cemetery by chance that night. God, this is a hard accent to keep up.
Understandable. Of course there was a witness. The story didn't write itself, but obviously the man made it all up.
And in any case, this was 10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding.
Objection. On the contrary, my lord, we all know this witness well.
What?
Are you suggesting, Counselor, that you've identified the person in question? As you know, who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events take place?
Yes, my lord. In fact, you could say he's right here before my very eyes.
You will substantiate your latest claim now then, Counsel. Who is the alleged witness of the staggering scene from the cemetery 10 years ago.
Why is this even a
Who
question?
could it be?
Why is this even a question?
It
Take that.
It even says stripper on the article.
The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Drebber.
The previous witness? I'm slowly turning into the judge from the first 3 games.
The special exhibit in the House of
Raging.
Horrors at Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork recreates that decade-old scene in great detail. The condemned criminal emerging from the grave, and beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Order, order, order! Surely not, Council.
Drebber was there, in Lowgate Cemetery.
Isn't this common knowledge? You should know this.
Maybe he doesn't really want to know much about the case.
What is all this talk about Mr. Drebber? Is your name significant?
Of
She
course.
doesn't know.
Madame Tuspels doesn't know, does she? Despite the fact that she made a waxwork of him.
But she hasn't seen him.
No, she doesn't know that Drebber is the one
it's-
who stole the waxwork. It seems.
I think. Well, she isn't the her waxwork of the witness based on the newspaper, right?
Well,
Is
she
that
would have wanted
right?
to make it accurate, right?
Yes.
To make it of
Yes.
Drebber himself.
I assumed that she would have wanted to meet the man to make his likeness. I don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
it's extremely significant, madame, to your situation as well, in fact.
What situation?
The theft of the Professor waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man.
No. But what's that what mean?
Madame Tuspel. It would appear that you know the name Enoch Drebber.
We. Yes, I know it. But from long ago in the past.
What?
Oh my!
Good gracious!
Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Zoinks!
Yes. Yes, of course.
Leading us to a great
Do
stop?
mute-
Nope.
No, not yet. Or
The story. What?
Maybe here?
I'm thinking here. I'm thinking here is the spot.
Cliffhanger!
Two spells is speaking. Okay.
Two Spells is speaking. We're gonna come back to that story next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of things that we had as hunches were confirmed today. That's good.
Yes.
Very good. I want to know more about the professor. I want to know. I want to see his face. Is it Ass Man?
I want to see Hasanaga.
Is it Ass? It's not. It's not. Uh huh.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Is the fact that his eye switch gonna come up at some point?
What?
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 The eye that he uses, the eye that's like a robotic eye, is different in the 10 year younger version than it is in the current one, isn't it?
Oh.
I guess.
Is it?
It kind
I
of looks
don't
like.
think I noticed that.
I mean, more than that, his hand is more normal.
10
I mean-
years can do a lot to you.
Yeah, maybe he was in an accident or something.
He's a robotic recreation of Drebber.
Or maybe he has a sleeve that looks like a mechanical arm. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe he was doing some engineering and accidents happen.
Yeah, maybe. What are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're doing Three Hopes.
Hey!
Yeah,
Wait, we are-
oh, yes.
Yay, from.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself.
It doesn't say so on the schedule, but I'm gonna fix that right now.
It is not. The schedule is listed as a break night, but Three Hopes.
Oh, yeah,
You know
it's
what that
just
means.
Thursday.
They
Okay, cool.
exist.
Break
Well,
night means Taps does whatever he wants.
That's true.
Yay!
And this is, Wax Soup. I feel like we've had Wax Soup in the past. Do we do reruns?
Yeah.
Is that fine?
We rarely do reruns, though. We try to avoid reruns.
We try to avoid reruns. Professor Soup.
Doppelganger soup?
Caramel soup. Oh, Shams, quick, come back over here. We need that for the soup.
But
Thank
have we done caramel
The
soup?
caramel's
before?
gotta come back for that key.
For sure.
Caramel.
Rigor mortis soup?
Rigor mortis. Oh, rigor
Corn
mortis.
soup!
Corn soup.
Corn
Corn
Ooh,
soup.
There we go,
now we
there
got
we
a
go.
nice healthy soup. This is great. Okay.
Yeah,
Kernel
tasty.
corn.
Caramel and corn.
All right, folks. Thank you all very
Caramel
much for
corn,
coming,
That's a thing.
and we will see
Oh,
you
yeah.
next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye!